morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever it is that you're watching this video, and welcome to the Goodwine Zone. Today is Saturday. Hey, Betty. There's our neighbor and her dog. Today is Saturday, November the 26th, the day after Thanksgiving. And a little shout out to Barbers Motorsports Museum and Speedway, the hat of the day. The world's largest, I believe, motorcycle museum. And they also have Indy races there. Just happens to be the hat we've got on today. Otherwise, we've got Jimmy Neutron hair. Anyway, so today I wanted to show you some fall color for the Japanese maples. These maples have been in the ground now for about 3 years. 3 to 3.5 years. We're going to start off in the front here with the Inaba Shidare, and I'll kind of talk a little bit about fall color just while you're looking at the Inaba Shidare. We'll talk in general terms, nothing specific for a minute, but you'd rather be looking at the tree than me. Of course, this is a gorgeous Inaba Shidare made just for this spot. We picked this up from Coach Pat Dye's nursery in Notasulga, Alabama. It was a pretty mature tree, but the way it has that split trunk works perfectly in front of the staircase here. But what I was going to tell you is these guys have been in the ground about 3 years. When I plant trees, I use a mixture of 12-6-6 fertilizer with some soil conditioner that contains mostly pine bark. That helps aerate the soil, helps it keep it a bit loose, helps retain some moisture, and gives the roots some nutrients to help them become established. Now that 12-6-6 that I use, it's commonly called Nursery Special. If you get the Stay Green version, High Yield has a version called Grower Special, the same composition, and it has a slow release nitrogen, and the nitrogen actually tends to take several years to fully release. So the first couple of years you don't get great fall color in these Japanese maples, and one of the biggest issues people have is over fertilizing them. They want them to grow, which is great, but you end up missing out on a lot of fall color. So this is the first year that she's turned a really beautiful crimson. You know, we had a full week in the 20s, and so we've got some burned tips, and that's from the cold. But other than that, we got a beautiful color. There was a while that had a good bit of orange in it, like some of these guys. I don't know if there we go. It changed and had a good bit of orange, and now she's all crimson. They're holding on very well, so they'll hold on for a little bit longer, as long as we don't get too cold to get another freeze, knock them off. But it rained all day yesterday, and that did not knock them off. So, walk around it a little bit. So this is the Inaba Shidare. All right, tree number 2, Purple Ghost. The Purple Ghost, if you look up top, you can see where she gets her name. These on the tips are more purple, and then as they continue to lose the chlorophyll, they become more, I would call that a cardinal red instead of a crimson red, but she's a pretty tree. And she's on the corner here. We lost a branch. I don't know if you can see where I'm pointing. We lost a branch down here, and so we're going to pull this out in the spring once it grows a little bit, and give it a nice triangular form for the corner here. So, Purple Ghost. This is the one that We also got this from Coach Pat Dye's farm in Notasulga, Alabama. This is called Auburn Orange. And my thinking is she's more of a late changer. You can see, unfortunately, the cold got a lot of this, burned a lot of the ends. And, you know, I'm trying to understand inside here we do have a nice orange color. The leaves inside, I guess that were protected. Let's see if I can get in here on some of them. That's a nice orange color. Otherwise, it's more of a maroon. So we're going to keep watching this. It's still kind of greenish and purplish at the top, so maybe it's a late changer. So we'll keep watching it. And this is the Whatnong. We're a little late showing the Whatnong, unfortunately. Whatnong, a beautiful lace leaf, and she had a lot of orange in her before she changed. And I'm sorry that we did not get out here earlier for the lace leaf. She's down to crimson, and she has dropped probably 75% of her leaves. Abbey Rose, nothing to speak of on the Abigail Rose. Benny Sheehan, nothing to speak of on her. And then we come over here and we have a waterfall. And the waterfall, she's kind of pretty. She's not much orange, more yellow and golden on the waterfall. Now, let's come around the back here. I'm sorry for all of the oak leaves in the top of it. But this is another one we got from Coach Dye's farm, and she was not marked. I wish I had the wide angle lens, and I may have to go back and shoot some video and mix in here for you on the wide angle lens. And maybe I can even do some adjusting like this. But I think this may be a garnet, but I'm not sure. But she's gorgeous. And she has got a beautiful combination of maroon, purple, and cardinal red. And again, the first year that this tree, she's been in the ground here for 3 years. First year that she has had such beautiful red color. Sorry again for all the oak leaves that are in there. Now, let's talk about Osakazuki. Here is the Osakazuki. She's more of an upright. She also has been in the ground 3 years, also from Coach Dye's farm. What's neat about the Osakazuki is yesterday she was maroon. I did not think we were going to get any bright red out of her because she was maroon, and she's been maroon the last 2 years. Let me see if I can find any of the maroon color that she was. Not really. She has overnight, every leaf on her overnight went from maroon to, I don't know what you would call this red. It's not quite a cardinal, and it's not quite a crimson. It has a touch of orange in it, but it is gorgeous. From our kitchen windowsill, it's outstanding. Okay, Arakawa. Now the Arakawa is known as the rough bark maple, and it's not really spoken of much in terms of its fall color, but it's gorgeous. Combination of green, red, orange, yellows. It's a gorgeous tree. Next to the Aka Shigetatsu Sawa, her leaves are smaller and they're mostly orange, and she does not hold her leaves very well. This tree is prettier in the springtime. It's one of the earlier ones to come out. It comes out red, and it's very pretty. And obviously I'm going to have to separate these guys and figure out what to do here and give them a little more room. Now, one of my favorites, Koto no Ito. This Koto no Ito has these fine thread leaves. And it also, now what's interesting too, you read about these guys, and the petioles that are new from last year will have the wider leaves, and then the petioles that are a year old will have this thin strap leaf. At least, now don't you can post a comment if I'm wrong about that, and I very well may be. I am not a smart man, but that is what I have read. And what's interesting too, there's more yellow in the thin strap leaves, more red and orange in the wider leaves. I don't know if that has to do with the nutrients and how the older leaves maybe don't absorb as much of the nutrients and they've used up the chlorophyll. I don't know, but Koto no Ito, a gorgeous tree. Now this is my favorite tree in the whole lot, but she has really lost her leaves early, and there's not a huge change in her. Of course, this is the Hana Matoi, and she's red, but she's pretty much red, pink, white, green all through the year. Not a whole lot to speak of right now. I think it's mostly because she's young. She's only been in the ground for a year, and I had 2 of them, and unfortunately Gracie ate the other, which was a better shaped tree than this one. All right, let's move on down the road. We have the common name is white cloud or flying cloud. The scientific name, here we go. Ukigumo. Now Ukigumo, it's just some yellow. There's nothing spectacular. We are supposed to get some white variegation. We may be a little farther south to get that. We shall see. She's only been in the ground about maybe a year and a half, 2 years. Now, one of the prettiest plants in the yard. She is at the end of her fall foliage life. A week ago, she was at the peak. This is the Japanese sunrise. Japanese sunrise. Japanese sunset. I can't remember. I think it's sunrise. An upright Japanese maple. Very upright. A young tree. She is dropping her leaves now, but she was a gorgeous mixture of, they call it sunrise because that's what it is. It's a change from an orange and red and yellow and gold, and it's constantly changing as she's going through the fall colors. It never is one color. It's a constant mirage of all of them. It's gorgeous. Now, let's go on down here. This is an unnamed tree. I don't know what this is, but it's an interesting variegation in the, yes, I know there's a tag on it, but the tag has never worked. Forgive the location of the ladder, but it's an unnamed tree I got from one of my favorite nurseries I got from Stuart Myers. And what's interesting about this tree is the bark. Let's see if I can get this on the camera. See the bark? We got streaks of red in the bark, brown, green. When the leaves will totally fall, we will have very interesting color in the bark, and there's an interesting variety of colors in the leaves. Now, of course, one of my favorite trees is this bonsai, but it's a Tagukiyama. Am I saying that right? We may have to edit that out. The COVID got my brain, you know. Because she's in this tiny pot, she does not keep her leaves long. She does not get very good fall color because I'm not back here to keep her watered enough. So that's for the springtime. Let's move on to Viridis. My, oh my, what a gorgeous fall color tree. First time Viridis has produced these fall colors for us. In the springtime, in the summertime, she's as green as can be. Look at this mixture of orange and yellow. And she has had these leaves for a while. She will keep them for a while. It's a weeping lace leaf, and Viridis is one of my favorites in the fall. I mean, you just could not ask for a prettier fall color tree. All right, let's move on along. We've got Benny Sheehan. Benny Sheehan is gorgeous in the springtime. It's a cardinal red. She's not doing a whole lot. She'll turn some purple. Now, what's interesting about Benny Sheehan is the bark is as green as can be and will stay that way. We've got a little octopus down here. Octopus, I had a beautiful red dragon that the dog ate, and I replaced it with an octopus, and she's pretty. Very young. This was a tiny, tiny tree when I planted it. Very burned by this week of below freezing that we had, but she'll be pretty. Now the Bihu. This is one of Smoking Hot's favorites. And the Bihu is the very first tree to turn in the fall. Its leaves turn a solid yellow. And pardon me while I come in and remove some of the mighty oak's leaves, but in fall and winter she's still interesting because of the yellow bark. You know, just solid yellow bark. And she stays that way all winter long. In the springtime and in the summer, the bark turns green when all the chlorophyll is filling her up. But you can tell winter is coming when the bark starts to turn yellow and then leaves yellow up, solid yellow, like a ginkgo, and then drop off. Sorry we didn't get a video of that. And then we've got the Shinda Shoujo. Shinda Shoujo is, again, the first thing to color up in the spring with its brilliant cardinal red. And right now, we're still hanging on to some green leaves. So we'll have to come back and check her color. She's going to turn a little red. I don't know how much red. So it's been a wonderful, colorful year with these Japanese maples. Just look at that Osakazuki from over here. I mean, it's been the highlight of this winter, of this fall. The garnet, if that's what it is, it's gorgeous, of course. And you know, all the oranges are gorgeous, but I mean, that Viridis, just gorgeous. But the Osakazuki, man, I'm excited about that, and as it grows, it's going to be gorgeous. So we got to do some moving around this winter time when everything goes dormant. Figure out some spacing, and we've lost several trees up here that the dogs took out. So we're going to have to do a little replacement on the bank. But I hope you enjoyed it. Hey, you may tell you a quick story about this big box right here. The big box right here contains a 65-inch Samsung television. Let me come over here if I don't fall in the pool. A 65-inch Samsung television. I wanted an outdoor pool all my life. There's Poppy the seal dog. I told her not to get in. We'll see how long she obeys. But wanted an outdoor television all my adult life. I thought, you know, you've arrived if you have an outdoor television. Built a gorgeous box for it to protect it. Built a, if you can see the little electrical outlet over there. Wired it up. Ordered a custom weatherproof cover for the box. Had it all fixed up. We come out here and watched football for a couple of games. Watched, what's that show I like? Wheel of Fortune. And then Yuffie, the black lab, brought me her bone one day as I'm sitting out here in a recliner. Wanted me to throw it, and I tossed it without looking right smack into the screen. So we enjoyed that TV for about a month, and I refused to replace it. I don't deserve it. Hey, I hope you all enjoyed this small tour of the Japanese maples in fall color, and we will go out on the Koto, oh, there's Koto no Ito. We'll go out on the Osakazuki. Hope you have a